right to demonstrate is given to you from birth by God creating you. So as soon as you are born as a human being, you have those rights. So the right to demonstrate is not given by the Constitution. It's just that the Constitution protects it. That's why I say it is guaranteed. The Constitution says the fundamental human rights are guaranteed. So when somebody says he's guaranteeing you your rights, he's not saying he's the one who has given you. You already had that right, but the person is protecting them for you. So this is not lawlessness. What have we done here? We are just protesting peacefully. What have we done? We are just protesting peacefully. So we've not breached any law. We've not breached any law.
You heard private legal practitioner Martin Pebu.
This is Eyewitness News. So let's go on to the line and speak to our reporter, Fred Duho, who is covering day 2 of this all-important demonstration, which recorded a number of issues yesterday. It started yesterday. The police were not happy about the fact that the demonstrators were apparently breaching what the police thought were the rules of the game. And Fred Duho was there yesterday for us. This evening, he's joining us again from the venue of the demonstration to tell us more about how day 2 of the demonstration has gone. Good evening, Fred, and thank you so much for joining us. So what would you say about today's event? Was it as eventful as yesterday's was?
Richard, thank you very much. The rain actually added that kind of description you've just given right there to this protest. Rightly so, because these protesters, though not much in numbers, they defied the rains to proceed with their intended demonstration. The only thing that they did not really achieve today is to make their way closer to the Jubilee House, which they seem to have outlined in their earlier notices that was the destination for their protest. So not reaching the Jubilee House, I would say they are still not happy, but so far what they've achieved by the rain, staying in the rain and also in the sun earlier in the afternoon, that really added a level of color and made it eventful for them. They were in the rain, singing, chanting, and basically driving home their stories. Again, the police could not leave them in the rain. The police were there in their numbers. They also endured the harsh weather conditions to ensure that none of them proceeded beyond the barricade they actually used to block them from proceeding beyond the 37 military hospital today. I must add that a number of celebrities also joined the protest from the morning. We saw a number of them, musicians, comedians. We saw even actor John Dumelo also adding his voice, and all of them having the same message that the current economic situation is not favorable for the ordinary citizen to do or even afford daily meals, and hence they believe that something must change after this protest. So being eventful, yes, I would say so, because if they could defy these heavy rains, looking at the floods that really engulfed the city today, one would say that these people, when the rain started, they would have run to take cover. But that was not the case. They stayed in, singing and believing that indeed their message, and they really made a statement today with their protest.
Yesterday, the key issue that informed the hostilities we saw was that the police took the view that what the demonstrators were doing had breached the rules of the game. And so they effected some arrests. Did we see any arrests today? And if so, how many, if any?
Well, I would want to describe yesterday's incident as more of a backlash, because the police, they really didn't foresee the public uproar towards the way they handled and manhandled some of the demonstrators yesterday. So today, really, when we got there in the morning, we saw one bus with personnel in them, and we saw this pickup also with a senior police officer. They were waiting patiently to see if indeed these people would turn up. And indeed, they showed up. We were there when the very first person, being the lead convener, Oliver Bakavomao, showed up in a ride-hailing vehicle and got down with a bag of books. And when we asked him what the books were for, he mentioned that today, basically, they were going to educate the citizenry about their fundamental human rights. Hence, they came with a book that contains some education on their rights and so on. So, yes, the police were there in their number, but they really didn't pay attention to them. It was the very start that they sought to probably restrict them. The policemen even approached us personally, journalists, and said that it is because of our presence. That is why the protesters are making their way to this place. If we leave, they believe that they will also leave. But we told them, well, we're there to basically work. And even they being there as police officers, equally, is worth reporting on. So we also stayed, and when Bakavomao came, we saw EL, being the musician, also arrive with his manager, and they stayed briefly and then later left. So the police actually ignored them from the onset when we also told them that we're basically there to work. So later they moved from about some 300 meters from the policemen that were there in the morning, and then mounted speakers in a truck and started singing patriotic songs. It was around 11:50 p.m. when they started their march towards the Jubilee House. And upon reaching the entrance of the 37 Military Hospital, that is where we saw a sea of policemen, armed and well-dressed in their gears, basically waiting. They formed this line or barricade, sort of human barricade, to prevent them from going beyond the 37 Military Hospital. So the police never arrested anyone today, at least per my presence there throughout the day. I have never seen a policeman arrest any of the protesters today. They were calm. They stayed in the rain with them. And at a point in time, even the protesters, when they take turns to speak, they commend the policemen. And they even said that this was exactly what they expected from them yesterday. But that was not the case. But they believe that today they've been professional in their handling of the issue.
Before you go, we do know that this is supposed to be the second day. Tomorrow, if their intentions are anything to go by, it would mean that they will be back on the streets again. Have you been able to confirm this? And then also, how bad was the traffic situation around the demonstration, the venue for the demonstration?
Yes, the traffic, I would also add my voice to say that the police actually did a yeoman's job. They saw the incidents happening on the Accra-bound side of the traffic and then moved in quickly to block traffic right at the runabout where they diverted traffic. So vehicles that were moving towards Accra were equally diverted to other alternative routes, and hence the traffic was a bit fluid. But when the rain actually set in, today being Friday, a number of people are making their way out and into the city. So ordinarily, the traffic was expected, but because of the rains, it really compounded the issue. So the traffic situation was quite fluid. It was well managed by the police, and that, I would say, it was a great job done on the part of the police officers. Now, to confirm or not whether they will gather there tomorrow, Oliver Bakavomao made it known to us that the planned demonstration was to happen for 3 good days: yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow they will still amass on the streets as they did today. But as to whether they will still carry through with their intention to get to the Jubilee House being their destination on the day 3, that is what we would see if indeed that will materialize.
Thank you so much, Fred Duho, for that reporter monitoring what has been happening within the precincts of the 37 Military Hospital area and then also the 37 Trotro station. Folks who are not happy with the performance of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration have been demonstrating to voice their anger at the government. They started yesterday with some arrests effected. Those people have since been released by the police. But let's find out exactly what has since happened since yesterday. Prince Ganaku is a lawyer for Democracy Hub, the group that is actually leading this demonstration. Join us on the line. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for your time. So at what point did all your clients get out of police cells?
Good evening to you and your listeners. Yesterday in the evening, around 6 p.m. thereabouts, we started getting information from some members of the police leadership that it was looking promising that our people would be released. And so they hinted that we should start finding sureties for our people. And that's what we did. So we gathered some sureties, and around 7 p.m., or somewhere between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., the paperwork was finalized for the bail to be effected and the detained persons released. Across the various stations to which they have been distributed, yes, around 8 p.m. yesterday evening.
What are the conditions of bail, if you can tell us, please?
To my knowledge, there weren't any. It seems to me that, and this is my personal assessment of the situation. I don't want it to be taken for fact. It seems to me that the intention was to disrupt yesterday's demonstration so that it wouldn't happen. It appeared that the police had been operating under an erroneous impression that simply because they had filed the application for the injunction one day before the demonstration or the proposed demonstration, that they could arrest the people. But there was really nothing to charge the arrested persons with, because no offense had in fact been committed. And so even though the release was dressed up, as a police inquiry bail, there weren't any. We deal with the police, so we know, sometimes what the conditions are going to be. You are supposed to report at certain intervals. You're supposed to have, a certain number of sureties per person. That wasn't the case at all. There weren't any. I'm not aware of any conditions. Our people haven't been told to report at any time. The sureties were very few. To my knowledge, I don't think there were even 10 sureties for all the 56 people that were detained. So my assessment of the whole situation was that they were arrested to ensure that the demonstration didn't happen. And when in the evening it was clear that the demonstration wouldn't happen, they were released. And the entire sureties and bail, was just, dressing it up to formalize it somehow.
That notwithstanding, do you have any understanding as to whether the police intend to prosecute, regardless of what you had said previously?
No. Again, we haven't received any communication from the police that they intend to prosecute. I don't see how they could prosecute. There is nothing. Just like I said this morning, there is nothing to be gained. You could not successfully prosecute. In law, we are reluctant to give guarantees of particular outcomes, but there is very, very little basis to prosecute. They would just be making both themselves and the government even more unpopular. I don't see any basis for prosecution, either legally or just rationally. I don't think that it is likely to happen. And we also haven't received any communication from the police that anything of that nature will happen.
Okay, let's talk about the treatment of your clients in police cells. It's been suggested in some circles that they must have suffered some alleged beatings while they were held in lawful custody. Have your clients confirmed these to you? And if they have, as their legal representative, what do you intend to do going forward if indeed their rights were violated, as some of them have claimed?
The lawfulness of the detention is still up in the air. So I won't accede or concede that they were held in lawful custody. I personally don't think they were held in lawful. I personally don't think they were held in lawful custody. But I have to be fair to the members of the police service. Despite videos of certain persons being manhandled in front of Accra Central Police Station, and despite reports that Oliver himself was manhandled severely, which he will have to confirm himself, I haven't heard much about the inmates themselves being manhandled. In fact, we went to Shukra. The detained persons were in high spirits and they were cracking jokes with the members of the police service. We went to the ministry's police station. We have to and Soko. They were all quite supportive of both counsel and accommodating of the detained persons. And they let us know that they were just caretakers and they had not expected the arrest. And so for them, they were just, keeping the people. So they didn't have any interest, as it were. So they didn't, my assessment generally was that the inmates were not manhandled. But there were some incidents of fracas at the Accra Central Police Station where I am told a lawyer was manhandled and a Metro TV journalist was manhandled. I'm told Bridget Usu was maltreated as well. I am told a lady by name Delali Goldheart was also mistreated. Yes, but apart from those isolated incidents, generally I think that detained persons were treated very well, and it would be very unfair of me to, come here and say that the police generally mistreat all the arrested persons.
Okay, before you go, sir, the legality of what happened yesterday, some people argue your clients breached the law. Again, they repeated the demonstration today.
What is the argument?
Please, indulge me. Let me just finish the question. Today, they repeated that. And our understanding is that tomorrow, they will be giving it a crown when they conclude the demonstration tomorrow. As far as you're concerned, is it your position that what they are doing is lawful and that nothing untoward has been done by your clients?
Yes, no. So that is not in question. That is what I believe. But I am curious to understand. Maybe perhaps if you could present to me the arguments from the other side that says that the protesters have broken the law, then perhaps I could sort of understand where they are coming from. Because I really cannot see any basis for that argument. It's a completely baseless argument as far as I am concerned. So I'm perhaps you could sort of articulate what they are saying so that I could sort of respond to it, if that makes sense.
That's okay. Prince Gananku, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. He's a lawyer representing the Democracy Hub. 97.3 Citi FM is the station. This is Eyewitness News. When we return, we'll be telling you about a statement issued by the National Security. Well, they are debunking claims that have been made by Oliver Baka Vomawa, who is the convener for the Fix the Country movement, which allegation suggested that persons within the security apparatus of the state sought to bribe him into abandoning his cause. When we return, we'll hear from that.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies DA improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Hello?
My guy, tonight what's up? What be the agenda?
Bro, we enter town. We go pick level for 1957 bar. Then we go pre-game for Osu. After we fit enter streets, hit Aliba, then jam for some other side. But not necessarily in order. Last we will take the last show enter club.
More options, you know that.
You know see, but today be you the bill.
Oh, you don't get problem. As I get Express Pay.
With all your wallets and cards in one place on Express Pay, you get to chill and casa with no worries. Send money, pay bills, and transact effortlessly. Our 24/7 customer care is always available to assist you. Download Express Pay and enjoy life with the option of all options.
It's the
Best season of the year, just in some points. Momo pay or you say Momo app. Send with ease and win big. You be merchant or you be Momo user. Momo season abanti send DBVR. Send DBVR. Momo season abanti send DBVR.
From now till the end of September, earn points when you download the Momo app and make Momo Pay transactions to a merchant via either the QR code or merchant ID and stand the chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. Our merchants are not left out. Receive payment and win. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes to be won. So download the Momo app, transact with Momo Pay and get rewarded this Momo season. TNCs apply.
MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to 97.3 Citi FM. This is Eyewitness News. My name is Richard Delaska, and this evening I'm here with Hawa Idrisu. Still ahead, we'll be telling you about some concerns over tanker driving in our country. The drivers have been raising concerns about Chinese folks making huge entry into the space and creating problems for their personal economies. We'll be telling you as to what exactly their concerns are. And then also, national security has issued a statement. I'll be bringing you that statement in a jiffy. In the meantime, though, 054-9986-996 is the text line. Send us your comments, 054-9986-996, and we'll read some of them as we go along. For now, though, let me bring you the statement coming in from National Security regarding some claims that have been reportedly made by Oliver Baka-Vomawo. So the statement says National Security debunks money offer claims by Fix the Country convener. And it says the Ministry of National Security has debunked claims by the convener of the Fix the Country movement regarding a purported offer of some money to him by officials of the ministry. Now, the statement says, and I quote fully, the Ministry of National Security has taken notice of allegations made by a viral post by Oliver Baka-Vomawo, a convener of the Fix the Country movement, regarding a purported offer of $1 million made to him by the Minister for National Security to compel him to cease his activism. Now, while it is acknowledged that the Ministers for National Security and Finance and other relevant stakeholders in 2021 engaged the conveners of the Fix the Country movement to listen to their concerns, it must be stated emphatically that no offer of money or appointment was made to persuade the group to end its activism. The statement continues to say the allegations made by Oliver Baka-Vomawo are thus false, unfounded, and a calculated attempt to hoodwink Ghanaians. We challenge Mr. Vomawo to produce his claimed recording of the said inducement attempt, failing which we urge the general public to ignore the same and treat it with the utmost contempt that it deserves. So this is coming in from National Security. Your reactions are coming in thick and fast. Let's read some of your comments coming in. How are?
Akapol Jr. from Ahafumem writes, why are the organizers of the demonstration bent on going to the Jubilee House? Can't they present their grievances to those concerned outside the seat of government? I only pray the demonstration is not politically motivated. Zelix Dwayne and London write, I'm really crestfallen in the police. Allow them to protest. It's their right. Jones Adobo in La says, good evening, Sky. Demonstrations are the only lawful means by which citizens can vent out their frustration and anger. Be a citizen and not a spectator. Abdurazak from Boko writes, why won't the police allow innocent Ghanaians to express their concerns that is backed by law? Is this the democracy we are soliciting for? Why can't we register our displeasure with the government of the day?
Keep your comments coming in 054-9986-996, 054-9986-996. So Accra is under floods. At least parts of Accra are facing severe floods as we speak. And Hawa will tell us about what exactly has been happening in parts of Accra. And we go on to the line and conduct a quick interview. Hawa.
And numerous traders and residents residing at Avenue here in Accra and some neighboring communities have expressed deep concern about the severe repercussions caused by Friday's flooding on their livelihoods. The persistent issue resulting in numerous homes and vehicles being inundated is primarily linked to the Odo River's overflow due to contamination from waste, plastics, and human waste.
Thank you so much, Howard. George AEC is the Public Relations Officer of the National Disaster Management Organization. He's joined us on the line to tell us exactly what the assessment of that organization is regarding what has been happening in Accra over the past couple of hours. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us. First of all, what is the state of affairs following the rains in Accra this afternoon?
Yeah, thank you. It's been mostly flash flooding. That's what we've assessed. And some places have been flooded, as captured in your news. Places have been inundated. Overflow of water banks, that's lakes and rivers, and that is also inundated communities around those areas. Places like Ashama, New York, China Mall, Adenta, SDA, Kogas, Domi Pilatu, Teshi, Lakeside, Shalibuchi, Sakama, Dansumak, Kamishi areas and Circle. These are all experienced flash flooding as of now, and in two situations where a pregnant woman was trapped in the Circle Kamishi area, but she has been rescued, and then a man was also trapped in a car. In the Teshi area has also been rescued. So that has been the situation. As of now, the water is receding. The flood waters are receding. That is our report. Because we've deployed teams across the town, one in the Circle Kamishi area, the other around the Adenta enclave through to Teshi enclave.
Now, we've received videos from the Tema motorway area. For instance, the China Mall, we're told, is so much inundated. It would appear that the goods and the things they sell in there may have been badly damaged. What reports are you receiving from around that particular area, and how badly are the locals very much affected?
Yes, that's what I did say. Yes, those who are around those places have been inundated. And that situation, sometimes when we get risky or dangerous situations, we try to go into help. But flooding in homes and others, it depends. If they are pushed out, then we'll make a follow-up to see how we can assist them. But the assessment is ongoing, so we are yet to ascertain the level of the number of people that have been affected deeply. For now, we did a flash assessment to see which people have been affected, and then as to whether they are in danger and must be rescued. After that, we will make the follow-up to ascertain whether it's pushed people from their homes as a result of the flooding.
Now, the officials responsible for weather monitoring, what have they been telling you about the possibility of further rains or further rainstorms? And how should people prepare for that, given that today is Friday? People would want to go to their villages for funerals. People want to travel long distances and all of that. What is the message from NADMO to all of these people?
Yes, we are in constant touch with GMET, and they keep updating us every time. They say the rains are going to be severe, the rains are going to be heavy, and so we should be careful, all of us. Those who are traveling, in some cases, there'll be stormy, windy. And so if you're traveling to places where there are trees and co, just be careful. If you are in areas where the roofings of houses or homes are not too good, be careful in those areas. And let's be careful in our areas. If we are in areas that we are not sure and they are flood prone, let's try and identify safe havens, especially in the cities. And then in our communities, let's be careful and move to safer grounds for our safety and that of our relatives.
Now, upon completion of your assessment of how much devastation has been caused by the floods, what exactly do you intend to do about the plight of people who would have been affected? And then again, the question of resources to actually help. We do know that in the past, you've been complaining as an organization about the lack of resources. Do you have the resources now, and are you able to provide a meaningful response to the plight of the people?
By resources, you mean relief?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. It depends on, I've always kept saying it depends on the number affected. We have some minimum response items. What will happen if people are inundated and they are not able to access their rooms? When the team does the assessment and we need to get them a temporal structure, we will then identify a place and move them in. And if there's any need for immediate support, we will do that upon completing the assessment. So yes, when people are moved out of their homes and there's a need to relocate them, we will identify community centers, schools or churches and get them temporarily there and support them. However, if it goes beyond and the number is huge, then we will need additional support to be able to properly attend to them.
Thank you so much, George Eshi, the spokesperson for the NADMO, for talking to us this evening. This is Eyewitness News 97.3. Citi FM is the station, and you can send us your comments 054-998-6996. How has the situation with flooding affected you this afternoon? And as we speak, you can send in your comments 054-998-6996. You can also send us photographs and videos as to exactly what experiences you are having to put up with. Fauzu Musa, or is it Masaudu, is a reporter with us here at 97.3 Citi FM. He's been touring the capital following the rains. He's on the line to tell us more about what he's been seeing. Good evening, Masaudu, and thank you so much for joining us. So where exactly are you now, and what is the situation with the flooding?
All right, thank you very much, Sky. I'm currently at Teshi Tafungajo, jokingly called Ngabole. It's a very popular community in the Teshi township. When I got here, I was met with a sad reality of some people, counting their losses. They are moving their stuff from their room outside because the room had been inundated by the flood. I'm joined by one of them. Good evening. Now, Auntie Boteli. Oh, he be an Afiene. Hey. 50 years. 50 years. Oh, he be an energy clan Numboni and the neighbor sitting in the my friend, I guess Shag Bene, and the first Beneke, Shag Bene, Gotak and Nibiana fear you wore, rather than a guy about 20 to Monsho. If it were to be fair, one my that mean no come on if it is fair you when I know that near now I bought near no about 50 America will lala if it will any be fair at the low not fake no fair no at the same here hello fair catty go to the cafe no moon is an one you mean have got time wasting let me wow beach and I'm a fair no I know ship pleasure, fair but was me. It was a governor. When I'm going to near by the back and now who feel Nepo in a few knee. If it is for well now, I wouldn't get fair no more. I hear fair film. Okay. So Sky, that was Auntie Bole. She's a resident over here. She tells me she's lost literally everything in her room. Like I stated earlier, the clothes in the wardrobe, her shoes, bags, everything. She's lost it, and she attributes this situation largely to the construction of a bridge at the junction, the road leading to their house. They said the bridge has blocked the waterway. Let me talk to one other man over here. Find a good evening.
Good evening.
Find a catch up with him.
DJ Soa.
Often he be an Afian.
Oh, more than 15 years.
More than 15 years. No, 15 years. Energy first time you witness.
Oh, that be like everything to be fair. We are everything TV in laptop. In pictures, in sharp pictures, everything of your no income. Be an embedded TV, but no going to mattress. Mattress, your new one pony eyes and no new fit of your no money show for fear. over 15 years now. We are getting energy West near. Oh, West. I'm going to know where you feel. Last year, no, it's well done. Last year, no, letting crash. This year, no, one your manage the few. Because what free plans come if what feel what was a thing when one about yeah. All right. So that was Ajeso. He's been Ajeso. He's been living here for 15 years, and he tells me that. Though the rains, the water had receded over here, he's still counting his losses. He's lost his laptop, his television set, and other electronic appliances from his room. Let me try and talk to one other person.
No, just not in one. Hello, and be fair, Cathy. Near no one, like I will bet. I got you up, can it be fair? Oh, me, po, near be an Ishian, be an Ekula for me. The potential mean of 55 years. It be an Ekula for me. Ona, near Epitany BP, she don't have it and it no me for boo. Let no know me about it. It's in no potential, and you banner a few. What are the few, meaning a few any? Many what I say, no go back. One in war, me away, one leg. No, I can't buy the car, what then check. What Fiano, where me no.
So that was another resident, and she's re-echoing what her colleagues have mentioned earlier. She sells over here. She sells with one of her sisters, and I mean she's fetching the soup into another bowl because she tells me that the rain had spoiled everything they've put together for the market today. So that's the situation over here at Teshita Fongado.
Thank you so much, Fauzu Masaudu. Citi News is Fauzu Masaudu on the line there from Teshi, here in the Greater Accra region. How is the situation affecting you? Send us your comments 054-9986-996, 054-9986-996. I'm seeing very devastating videos coming in, and some of those videos will be published on our website and then also on our various channels. Talk about Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. 97.3 Citi FM is the station. This is Eyewitness News. Let's take you now to another story. This time around, the Electoral Commission is in the middle of it.
Now, civil society group Justice for Ghana is urging the Electoral Commission to decentralize the limited voters registration exercise at its district offices by establishing more registration centers across the country. This decision comes in response to criticisms from stakeholders over the EC's insistence on exclusively conducting the limited voters registration exercise at its district offices. Speaking to Citi News during the group's sit-down protest at the Electoral Commission headquarters in Accra, convener for Justice for Ghana, Salom Dramani, stressed that the electoral management body's position is likely to disenfranchise qualified voters.
Which is that the Electoral Commission should open more centers for Ghanaians to get their Ghanaians who are qualified to get their names onto the electoral roll, because the Constitution of Ghana has clearly outlined the functions of the Electoral Commission, which functions are A, the Electoral Commission shall compile the register of voters and revise it as at such periods as may be determined by law. B, to demarcate electoral boundaries for both national and local governments. C, to conduct public elections and referendum. D, to educate the people on the electoral process and its purpose. E, the E is the alpha and omega of our demand, of our objective here.
That was the convener for Justice for Ghana, Salom Dramani.
Okay, so Salom has joined us on the line for a quick interview. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us. So how did the demonstration go today? You were supposed to be there together with your loyalists. Did it go well?
Yeah, it went well, as planned. Unfortunately, because of what happened yesterday, it didn't really go the way we planned it previously. But when that thing happened yesterday, we had to do another plan or make another plan for today's commencement of the the sitting demo at the Electoral Commission. So the plan B we made yesterday, I would say, has gone successfully well today.
The report we get is that your plan B apparently didn't work because you ended there. You ended up sitting there on your own without any of your people around you. How true is that?
Yeah, that is what I said, that we didn't plan to go there just like one person go there. I mean, the convener alone going there. No, that wasn't our original plan. But because of the brutality meted out to our fellow Ghanaians yesterday, during that peaceful demonstration that was about to take place, we thought it wise that because the police now has a penchant for using brute force on demonstrators, we decided to err on the side of caution. So in the end, you were the only person who actually demonstrated today, right? Because it is only fitting and proper at times for the leader of a team to take a shot for the team. Now, what exactly what do you hope to achieve with your demonstration? What we are hoping to achieve is that for the Electoral Commission to be aware that especially the commissioner, to be aware that she's flagrantly contravening the Constitution of Ghana, which is inimical to the democratic rights of significant number of Ghanaians. That is Article 45E. That Article 45E says, and I quote, the Electoral Commission shall undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters. Unquote. That's what the Constitution says. The Constitution doesn't say that when the Electoral Commission embarks on limited registration exercise, the Electoral Commission has the latitude to do suppression and restriction of the registration of voters. That's not what the Constitution says. I see. So beyond your one-man demonstration, which occurred today, do you intend to litigate this matter at the appropriate forum? Unfortunately, as members of Justice for Ghana, not even a muscle or a scruple exists in us when it comes to the confidence in the judiciary. We don't have confidence in the judiciary. Very well. But the judiciary now is an extension of the executive. So we don't have any confidence in that. That is why we are taking to do the sit-in at the Electoral Commission, because the administration today, the regime, is using democratic institutions to kill democracy in the country. That is why we must rise up as citizens of this country, not to have our democracy extinct by this very administration. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Selam Jiramado Dramani. He is the convener of the civil society group Justice for Ghana, demonstrating today within the precincts of the Electoral Commission over the limited voter registration exercise currently ongoing around the country. 97.3 Citi FM is the station. This is Eyewitness News. When we return, we have business news for you, and later Point Blank on Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, a low burst line, a little tight by the hips, covered sleeves, off shoulder, definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Yeah, Charlie, so many vibes and I bontin father, my sanaba. My mini papa and you're not for more fear no more acquaintum. Should be bianya so a manisca coffee and fancy that near fear for before Jawisi no parking. A bear man Sujai Casa. Thanks to Sukasa, how to your nature. Sukasa see a damn brony friend affordable luxury homes, or more 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, where you're fully gated or grants and communities, or more malls, clubhouse, and all social amenities, plus 24-hour security. Almost our flexible payments, and yeah, I know my dear at Dow Casa, plus plus 100% guaranteed cashback. Yes, 100% guaranteed cashback. No quick unanswered stories. Contact Sukasa right now through phone calls or WhatsApp on 030-296-0865 and 055-369-7886. Charlie's social media so more, baby. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sukasa GH. Email Susie at info@sukasa.com.gh. Sukasa, building on trust.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News, and Howard has details of what's happening in the world of business.
Now, in business, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has appealed to the business community to collaborate with its task force as the authority moves to engage leadership of traders to address concerns over the collection of taxes. This comes on the back of a warning by the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, against the GRA over allegations of the use of intimidating tactics to implement the upfront payment of the value-added tax. Now, GUTA has criticized the GRA's practice of sending officers to sit in the shops of traders to monitor their sales. But in a statement issued today, the Ghana Revenue Authority emphasized that it employs various compliance and enforcement strategies in its revenue mobilization drive. The statement further explains that the authority is working to reduce human involvement in its collection process to ensure efficiency. Meanwhile, tax consultant Francis Timoboy maintains these allegations of harassment in business communities or business activities have dire fiscal consequences. The disagreement between the traders and the GRA, if not resolved amicably, would threaten government revenue collection efforts.
If you look at customs operations throughout the world, one of their key roles is to facilitate trade. They help businessmen move goods and services around. Of course, they have their eye on revenue. The problem has been that customs keeps saying that people try to evade tax by either under declaration or they don't pass through the right borders. So all the time, the law gives them the power to do what we call the policing. So they have the power to stop a vehicle and search the content. But from what GUTA is saying, they have made some petitions to the GRA complaining that there is no tax evasion on their side, and yet they are not getting a response. And unless customs is also of the view that the importers are evading tax, which in this case the law gives them the power to stop and then examine the content of the goods to ensure that the proper taxes have been paid to the government.
You heard tax analyst Francis Timoboy. Officials of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, are expected to arrive in the country by Monday for the first official review of its program with Ghana. The government has already expressed readiness to meet the fund as it has satisfied the requirement to unlock the second disbursement of $600 million in November to support its balance of payment. This assessment will be over the implementation of Ghana's post-COVID-19 economic recovery program under the $3 billion bailout. Economist Dr. Patrick Essumin is optimistic Ghana will be able to secure the second tranche to restore macroeconomic stability. He tells Citi Business News that based on some resilient economic reforms, Ghana stands a chance.
Based on the indicators and the actions that have been taken so far, you expect that the IMF, the staff will recommend them. Probably the board will approve that the next tranche is paid. I think, some of the indicators have stabilized. Some have probably marginally improved. But if you look at the actions that government is supposed to take, for the upcoming review, the legal framework that has to be done, changing the Bank of Ghana Act to curtail BOG lending to the government and related matters, and then also passing or bringing in some of the new measures to bring more revenue. You got a sense that the government has done enough. So my expectation is that when the IMF team come on board, they will probably find the progress made favorable enough to approve the next tranche.
You heard economist Dr. Patrick Essumin. The director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, has expressed confidence in the future of the economy, especially in the upcoming months. One of the most encouraging signs for this positive outlook, he says, is the anticipated improvement in gross domestic product figures. Speaking to Citi Business News, Professor Peter Korte points to several key factors that will contribute to an economic rebound.
It's likely we're picking up because one, there is some stability, and I think we've seen some relative stability. We've seen exchange rates relatively being stable, and even the Economic Intelligence Unit of the UK have revised the expectations about the depreciation rate from, they said 30% to 23%. You can see some expected changes. So when all of this happened, inflation you've seen has come down by 3 percentage points. And so when all of this is happening, you're likely to see some improvement. And in addition, in the last quarter of the year, GDP figures go up. Normally, the first, second quarter, GDP growth is not too high, but the last 2 quarters, we see some significant growth. So we are likely to see some improvement in GDP growth by the end of the year.
You heard Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte. Now we are just a week away from the 2023 edition of the City Business Olympics. That day is inching closer. The battle lines are being drawn and competing companies are vowing to go all out to defend their titles and snatch some more. Today, we throw light on the hot JAMA sessions by one of the many participating companies and what their game plan will be on the 30th of September.
The City Business Olympics has always been characterized by vibrant JAMA sessions, which adds to the thrill and excitement of the competitions. Apart from the health benefits and networking that participants get from taking part in the sporting event, many look forward to the energetic JAMA sessions. The 2023 edition of the City Business Olympics will take place on September 30 at the Eden Heights Sports Complex at Waja. Participants of the corporate sports event will compete in a variety of sports, including 7-a-side football, basketball, sack race, volleyball, tug of war, and arm wrestling. Team Alisa Hotel storms the premises of Citi FM on Thursday amid some wild JAMA sessions and promised a sterling performance come September 30.
This season or this year, trust me, we are going to take everything because we are more than prepared. And as you can see, our people are so much prepared. Okay. So today we are here to interview and also just play a little JAMA songs and perform our culture. Let me put it that way. As we always bring the spirit of success and excellence to wherever we go. So today we are very, very, very happy to be here.
The City Business Olympics 2023 is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and proudly sponsored by Lozati Lozenges from Unicorn Chemist Limited, EK Brand Consults, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, and Hollard Insurance.
Well, as you heard in there, Team Alisa Hotels preparing to claim the bragging right as the best business organization. Now, if you haven't registered as a company, what exactly are you waiting for? Contact 020-5973-973, 0205-973-973, or 0558-973-973, 0558-973-973 for more participation details. Now, Ghana's premier 5-star luxury hotel nestled in the heart of Accra, Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, Accra, is poised to enhance its reputation for top-tier hospitality with the appointment of Hanno Bakov as its new general manager. With over 2 decades of experience in the luxury industry, Hanno Bakov is a familiar face within the Kempinski family. His journey began in 2002 at Hotel Adlon Kempinski, Berlin, Germany, where he started in event sales and food and beverage. In 2016, he led 2 of Kempinski's flagship European hotels in Berlin and Munich as hotel manager for 7 years. Now, as a German national, Hanno Bakov brings a wealth of knowledge and a profound understanding of luxury hospitality to his new role as general manager at Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, Accra. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Technology is shaping the workforce of the future. Are you job market ready? Looking for a career change or want to get into the tech space? The place to start is with ALX, an Africa Leadership Group initiative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, is developing a talent pool within the technology sector. ALX offers courses in software engineering, AWS cloud computing, data analytics, and Salesforce administration. This is an opportunity to learn in-demand skills in a changing job market. ALX provides added value in training programs, mentorships, and networking. Apply now and get started on your dream career. Visit www.alxafrica.com to register before the deadline of 12 September 2023.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News, and this is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Tonight on Point Blank, some tanker owners in the country are not happy. Now, their union is raising concerns over the influx of tanker trucks owned by Chinese companies who are, according to them, taking over their jobs in Ghana. Now, in a letter to the National Petroleum Authority, the union stated that it had conducted checks which revealed that several tanker trucks had been imported into the country. Now, the union expresses concern that this would affect the livelihood of their members. Now, let me read details of the letter for you. They say, in part, we believe that transportation of refined petroleum products in the country using BRVs, Delia, in the downstream sector must be preserved for local Ghanaian businesses. Over the years, many Ghanaians have invested heavily into this sector and have acquired great experience and skills in the sector that have contributed in no small way to our socio-economic development. Now, they go on to say this treatment by a Chinese company to enter, or this threat actually by a Chinese company to enter into the sector will add practically no value to the sector other than deprive Ghanaian businesses and the livelihoods of the many Ghanaians that are in the fuel transportation value chain using BRVs, not to mention the further consequential effect on repatriation of profits and the value of the CD, and also undermining the multiplier effect of profit retention on the local economy. Now, with the emergence of Central Refinery, which may supply over half of the volumes of the entire economy. If a Chinese company is allowed to haul petroleum products, this would have a devastating effect on Ghanaian businesses in the downstream industry. We serve this notice to you as the industry regulator that our union takes a very serious view of this particular matter. So this is a letter that's been dispatched, I believe, to the National Petroleum Authority, raising concerns over the increasing role they allege that Chinese tanker owners are playing within the space. Well, Kwame Jantua is an energy expert. He's joined us on the line, and he's also a lawyer for his comments on the concerns being raised by the tanker owners. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us on Point Blank on Eyewitness News. First of all, do you think that the tanker owners have a valid concern that the downstream petroleum sector, the fact that they move petroleum from one end of the country to the other, that activity should be reserved for only Ghanaians and no foreigner should be in the space?
The downstream, good evening to your listeners, the downstream industry has been deregulated, hasn't it? And it is one part of the oil value chain or petroleum value chain that has a lot of Ghanaians in there. So you'd ask the question. You drive around and you see tankers with the Shell painting on. You see tankers with Total painting on, with a Total emblem on, and some of the international companies, Puma. You see the tankers with Puma on. Those tankers do not belong to Shell, BP, Puma, and all those. Those tankers belong to Ghanaians. But because they lift for those oil companies, they have to paint them in the colors of that company. Shell can say they are bringing in their own tankers and hiring their own people and handling their own tankers. But the downstream industry, where haulage is concerned, is Ghanaian. This particular company, and let me tell you the frightening thing about it. Do you remember when Honorable Ejakun was Minister of Energy? What did you hear? What did we hear? Honorable Ejakun indicated that and kept saying that Tor should be turned into a tank farm. We heard it. We heard it should be turned into a tank farm. This Chinese company has now come in. And now I can bet your bottom CD, there is a plan. Chinese just don't do anything and do anything for nothing. They want maximum control. They've now put in a refinery. They want to go into haulage. If they get into haulage, the next thing we see, they would have petrol garages. The moment that happens, the local industry is dead. Oil is dead. All the other local industries will be dead because they have a refinery, don't they? And the question I ask is that we have a refinery called Tor. The Chinese came in and were interested in putting a refinery up. Why didn't government tell them, we have a refinery here. If you want to go into the refinery business, go into partnership with us and let's get our refinery working and not a new refinery. Why wasn't that done?
Yeah, but Mr. Jantua, having multiple refineries in a country is not necessarily a bad thing. I believe you agree with that.
It's not a question of having multiple refineries. It's a question of your refinery. Is it working? Which comes first? The international, somebody who comes from another country, and our own. Which one comes first?
Yeah, but that is beside the point. If an investor has money to invest into a particular space within the economy, and the government thinks that it is a proper thing to do, they are invited to so do. Why do you believe that it would have to necessarily lead to a revamping of the state-owned refinery?
It will kill Ghanaian jobs, won't it? It will kill Ghanaian jobs. Let me give you an example. Right now, they bring in these haulage trucks. The number of people they would employ to drive these trucks. Let's say they bring in 300. 600 people will be employed, driver and mate. What happens to those who have invested in the haulage trucks, who live on it, who their families depend on them, others depend on them? What happens to them? The quantum of people who go out of business is greater than the quantum of people they would hire. Number two, they get revenue, cedis. They would need to change those cedis into dollars to repatriate. The dollar, where will they get it from? They'll get it from the sky. They'll get it from Ghana. Does that not hurt the economy? Oh, look, can we go to China and go and do what the Chinese are doing in this country? Can we go there? Can we go to China today? The China government sees that, Ghanaians want to come and open a refinery here. They would wait and see, is it an advantage to us? We should stop doing these beggars' bold things that we do and invest in our own.
Mr. Jantua, what I fail to appreciate about your point is that you seem to suggest that foreign direct investment in the shape and form in which this particular one came is bad. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that we think of ourselves first before we think of others.
So your suggestion is that if we do not revive TOR, we need no further refinery in Ghana. Is that what your suggestion is?
Why can't we revive TOR? That is the question you should ask yourself. Why can't we revive TOR? We find money for other things. Why can't we revive TOR? Because if we revive TOR, it's an advantage to the country. It's a country's asset. It is not any foreign country's asset. It's Ghana's asset. And we can use it to leverage other things. If we revive TOR, we can export. We have oil. We refine our own oil. We can provide oil for our people. We can provide refined petroleum products for our people. We can get BDCs to refine oil, to bring crude in and refine to export to other parts. We have AFCTFA now. We can refine oil and export to other countries. Other countries can bring their oil in and we refine in our refinery. Let's stop gratifying others because they are bringing investment in. Why can't we create investment?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
But before you proceed, sir, let me draw your attention to a story that's on 3news.com. Now, that story says it will cost $500 million to revamp TOR. Government, as majority shareholder, has no money. Now, the story says the Institute for Energy Policies and Research has said that the government, as majority shareholder of the refinery, has been quiet on any plans to get the refinery working to cushion the suffering number of Ghanaians or the masses of Ghanaians. It goes on to say that the group said that the cost to revamp TOR and provide capital for its operations is estimated at $500 million. But it added, quote unquote, no Ministry of Finance does not have this money, especially under the watchful eyes of the International Monetary Fund. You think that in the midst of our difficulties, we are able to fork out some $500 million to revive TOR?
Before International Monetary Fund came in, what were we doing? If we had planned well, to date, we started drilling oil 2010. We have made over $10 billion. And what's the 500 million? Did we plan properly? If we knew that TOR was an important institution for the country, which it is, would we not have budgeted for it? Would we not have gone to Parliament? Would we not have told Ghanaians that this is what we are using oil money for? Tell me, what have we used our oil money for? Tell me some of the projects we've used our oil money for. And you're trying to tell me 500 million. Our country called Ghana cannot afford 500 million. Today, we've discovered lithium. Who have we given it to? We've given it to a foreign company. And you're trying to tell me that we cannot create our own. That is the kind of mentality I don't understand about our country. Our telecoms industry. Who handles our telecoms industry? They are all foreigners. Common food. Supermarket. Who handles our supermarkets? Foreigners. Is it their country or is it our country? Don't come and tell me about we can't raise 500 million. Ghana can't raise 500. With all the gold we have, we cannot raise 500 million. Then let's sell the country to foreigners. That kind of argument I will not take. I'm sorry.
Well, the facts don't.
Well,
okay, so
if we plan well, we can do things better.
Oh,
if we plan well, the Terminal 3, did we not use oil money? Terminal 3, did we not use oil money? Anybody who walks through Terminal 3 in Ghana today, any foreigner who comes in does not believe Ghana has that kind of an airport. Did we not use oil money?
Well, the facts as we speak suggest that we are virtually insolvent. That is why we are unable to pay creditors we owe. We are before the IMF. We've collected 600 million thus far. The expectation is that in the coming months we'll receive another 600 million US dollars. Now, let's just move from the argument about the ability to revive toll. Now, what I want to understand from you is whether you are arguing that if toll is not back on its feet, we do not need to have investors in the space making things comfortable for Ghanaians.
That is not my argument. My argument is that before we even entered IMF, before this government even considered going into IMF, we could have changed things.
Okay, so let's assume that. Okay, go on.
Let me finish. And if we have decided to get another foreign country to come in and build a refinery, that doesn't mean that they can come and take our jobs off us. It doesn't mean so.
Okay.
It does not mean so.
But Mr. Jantua, you admit that the people who are coming to work with this refinery, not all of them are going to be Chinese men and women. In fact, as I understand it, there are Ghanaians who are working with Central. Is that not correct?
What is the end result? Do we always want to be workers? That mentality. Do we always want to be workers? Who gets the bulk of the revenue that Centium would be earning? Who gets that bulk? How much? How much will they be paying workers there? How much? And you think it's a good thing. You think it's a good thing just because they will create some employment for some people to work. How much will they be paying them? Find out. Find out how much they'll be paying them. The end result, the revenue that they are going to accumulate, where is it going? Is it staying in our banks for our banks to have enough money to lend to business? Is it doing that? Or it is going outside to make other countries rich? That is the kind of mentality I don't understand about us. That's the kind of mentality that everything that we have not been able to add value. Cocoa, cocoa beans. If you add value and get cocoa liquid, cocoa curvature, it makes more money than cocoa beans. Why are we still exporting cocoa beans raw? Gold. If we add value to gold, it makes more money than exporting gold raw. And we have one of the finest gold in this world. Where is the Ghanaian gold mine? Show me. It's not just a question of hiring people and making people have jobs. It's a question of ownership. Every country, go to the UK today. Who are you to get into the train service?
Okay.
The trains in the UK are for government of the UK. The airplanes are government of the UK. What do we own as a country called Ghana?
Mr. Jantua, now let me get back to the point about foreigners within our economy. If you go to the GIPC Act, Section 27 tells us exactly the areas reserved for Ghanaians. One of those areas is not the oil refinery or the evacuation of oil space, so that the Chinese are at liberty to invest, and they have invested. Now, am I to understand? You are saying that going forward, we should amend the act to limit foreign participation in this particular space?
I'm saying, and I think if you go, I'm not sure, but I will have to find out. I think if you go to the MPA regulation, there's something in there to do with haulage. When we decided to decentralize, it was one of the areas we were looking to make sure that Ghanaians would participate fully. But look, you're using law. Sometimes we've got to be deliberate. Sometimes we've got to be deliberate and make sure that we build our capacity higher. It is our country. It is our country, and it's up to us to make sure that our people benefit. You go to other countries, you see it working there. Why should we always be the ones opening up to others? Why? Why? The number of people who are going to lose their jobs and their livelihoods if this thing goes on. They brought in 300 trucks. If it goes on, they'll bring in more trucks. There is already a glut of trucks in the country where VRVs are concerned. It's already a glut. Why bring in more? So can't government tell them that, look, you have the refinery. However, you've got to work with our people. When are we going to be deliberate about things like that?
Yeah, but the question is, you are in the industry. Do you know if we have the capacity to evacuate what they will be producing on top of what we already have coming into the country from imports?
Yes, we have the capacity. We have the capacity. And we have people in the Ghanaians in the industry who can even ramp up the capacity. You have Ghanaians in the industry who can ramp it up because nobody tries to find out how things are with institutions or companies like that. Nobody. And when something like this happens, they are all grappling for information. We've got to bind our own. We've got to bind our own. I'll give you an example. You are Citi FM today. If you sit down and say a CNN or a BBC come into town and you know the kind of leverage they have and you begin to realize they are dwindling your business, what would you do? Would you sit and watch? Would you sit and watch? The moment your superiors tell you, this thing is hard, we need to now do away with some jobs, would you sit and watch? This country belongs to us first. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to plan our economy such that the Ghanaian can build capacity in certain areas.
Okay, before we bring the interview to a close, it's been suggested that government should get out of business and just create the right environment for businesses or the private sector to actually seize the business space and ensure that people get the true benefits of doing business in Ghana. And with that argument, people have suggested that toll, for instance, should be sold to private sector people to actually revive it and run it properly. What's your view on this? And if the opportunity were available, would you be interested in taking over and running that space as a private person together with other persons who may want to be, who may be interested in running toll and reviving it?
Let me tell you something about Ghana. The major problem and challenge we have with Ghana is personal interest. That's the major problem we have. If they are going to sell toll and they will sell it to Ghanaians, I have no problem. I have no problem. Test the capacity of Ghanaians. And I will put my hat in if that opportunity is given to Ghanaians. But the one challenge we've got to face in this country is personal interest. Our government people who we put into power come in with personal interest. And so when something like that happens, they want to take the chunk of it. It's happened in this Fourth Republic all through. Personal interest. Not until we begin to bring country first. Not until we begin to bring country first and bury the personal interest we have. Forget it. I am not interested in selling toll or selling any institution to anybody where there is capital flight. I'm not interested. and interested in reserving the money in our banks for our banks to grow. DDEP, who suffered? DDEP, who suffered? Local banks, the international banks, did they suffer? No, they were able to augment the losses with money from abroad. What about us? That is where I head for. Local, domestic. Let's build our own. Let's build capacity. Let's try as much as possible our educational institutions to channel our educational institutions towards business, towards making sure that the Ghanaian can handle himself. At the present moment, can we?
Kwame.
Lack of jobs, and we are giving it to foreigners.
Kwame Jantua, thank you so much for talking to us this evening. Kwame Jantua is an energy expert talking to us about some concerns emerging from the tanker drivers of this country regarding the influx, they say, of Chinese-owned tankers into our country. And their argument is that the MPA, the regulator, would have to intervene and stop the influx. And then also direct that the fuel that is currently being produced in the Tema area by the Chinese company, Central, that is now in the space, if the name is correct, should actually be evacuated by Ghanaian tankers and not Chinese-owned tankers within the space. Well, that has been Eyewitness News. Before I go, this message says, please help us. We are stuck at SCC Junction at Weja, West Hills Mall. We have been at one point for close to 1 hour. Please help us. It looks like there's no police officer available to help. So this has got to do with the rains that have come in and the problems that they have created on our roads. That particular corridor is very, very problematic. So we're inviting the police, if they can, they should go to the area and help the people who are currently stranded along that particular stretch. And this one says, good evening. I want to please beg the police to go to Boku and save our brothers and sisters there if it's true that they care for Ghanaians. And this one is coming in from Tanko Bless, who is listening to us live in Ho. That will be Eyewitness News. My name is Richard Sky. I was here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, and I sat in for Selim. I don't know. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.